You're listening to the Handcrafted Therapy Podcast with massage therapist and business owner, Julie Alexander. That's me. I'm your host. I've been a massage therapist for 17 years, and I have a business marketing degree. On this podcast, we'll be interviewing industry professionals that can talk to us about how to run your business better, how to be a better massage therapist overall, and how to take care of yourself and give yourself a little love, a little self-care, little grace in your life. I am so glad that you're here. Thanks so much for joining us today. Hello, Magalicious. I'd like to introduce my professional, awesome hairstylist, colorist, Maggie Kelly with Transformation Station. Hi, Maggie. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, happy to be here.
One of the things, I know this is a massage therapy podcast, but one thing that we're focusing on is helping small businesses succeed. And one of the things that I really love about your business is that it's so inclusive. Everybody feels very comfortable walking in the door, no matter who they are. And you really created a welcoming space. And I think that's an important part of any business. Can you talk to me about how you've done that?
Well, I think it's really important to brand yourself. And I mean, Lindsay's my business partner, Lindsay Fergus. When we started this business, it was in the middle of the pandemic and neither of us had very much money. And so you have to really allocate if you're starting with 10 grand, you have to really choose wisely where that 10 grand goes. And we did not shy away from branding. Like when you go to our website, when you go to our Instagram, when you look at our business cards, when you walk into the room, all of the colors and all of the themes flow together. So one reminds you of the other, reminds you of the other. And when you brand, it's important that your brand reflects who you are as a person, because your values and, what you really want your company to portray to the world, because you'll attract clients similar to you. And that's how I created such a neat space where everyone's really inclusive, is because, all of my clients are very similar to Lindsay and I, and we're quirky, fun members of the community that we're always active. We're always out and about, and we love meeting new people. And so when you come into the shop, a lot of our clients are in the same social media groups and little cliques, and they'll, oh, you're so-and-so's teacher. There's a lot of overlap, and no one's afraid to talk to each other because we're so talkative.
It feels so much like a family when you walk in. And I mean, just the name of your company, Transformation Station, tells you everything right there. It's like, come in, we're ready to give you a brand new look if you want it, or just pump you up into the beautiful person that you already are. And it's just, you and Lindsay have done a great job of that. And I want to be able to share that kind of magic that you feel when you walk into your place. I want other massage therapists to create that in their space as well. And, that's the most important thing, is when a client walks in your door, they immediately feel comfortable and welcomed and happy to be there. And that's exactly what you've created in your space.
Thank you so much. And that means the world to me, considering that's really what Lindsay and I aim to do. But I'm going to flip the table on you a little and say, you've done the same thing. When I come into your space, I feel passion in your energy, and immediately just feel so comfortable in your space as well. So I'm like-minded sister to another. And you've done a great job in your branding and your passion and your work to do the same thing. We're just here together to try to show and teach other people how to do the same thing that we've done kind of instinctually. And we have to, look at what's worked and what hasn't.
And thank you very much for that, because I've worked hard to create that welcoming space as well. And I think some places, not ours, but some places can have to be a little bit like they're trying to portray themselves as being welcoming, and it's just a front. It feels fake. And I think one thing that I really like about yours and my business both is that we're the same on camera as we are off camera. We're the same as we are out of work. I mean, we're just two quirky redheads trying to make it in the world. And, we make mistakes and shit happens and we move on. We learn from them, hopefully, so we don't turn around and make the same mistakes again. But we're not trying to pretend like we're something that we're not and that we're perfect. Because, we're not. Sometimes we trip and fall and hit our knees on the table.
I did yesterday. All the intentions of working out. And I literally on my way out the door, I had my gym bag in my hand and I tripped and fell and I hit the fireplace and I busted my knee. And that just goes to show that you can have the best intentions and still and be so prepared and be on your way out the door and ready. And if life wants to make you sit down, it will. And you will reevaluate some things. And I've found that in my own business, actually. And one of the things is, you were talking about how people feel when they enter a space, how sometimes it feels a little phony or whatever versus, coming into our place. And I mean, you all but throw your purse on the floor and go, I'm home.
Yep.
I think a huge difference between that is passion. And people love to be passionate about what other people are passionate about. They like to ask questions. And when, if you get a little nerdy with it, they love it. And it just reinforces that you know what you're talking about. And it also reinforces that, I can be relaxed here. I don't have to ask too many questions. I don't have to overanalyze this. I trust this person to either do my hair or to massage me, to find the kinks in my muscles. And when Julie says, hey, one of your legs is longer than the other, I trust that it's true. And she fixes me. But, that same thing about passion, when you talk about it all the time and, you eat, breathe, and sleep your passionate career, when you mess up every once in a while, whether it's a misbooking or you're running late or heaven forbid something happens with your LLC, your clients are a lot more forgiving because they see you. When they see you, they don't see a corporation. They don't see a company. They see their friend. And when you're more raw and open with people, they kind of see themselves because we're all putting on some sort of a front when we step out of our house to the world. And when you see people make mistakes or you see people laugh at, or make inappropriate jokes sometimes or whatever, that breaks that mold. When that mold shatters to the ground and there you are exposed as well, you don't feel so raw. You can share, and that you and I are kind of we just tap on that glass a little of everyone's phony realities and go, who's in there? You can come out and you can be safe here. Yeah. Look at me. Look at me. I'm a mess and I'm silly and I'm creative and I'm ADHD and
I'm imperfect.
I'm imperfect. And I see you. If you can see me, maybe you'll let me see you. That level of transparency really helps people take a deep breath. It helps people forgive you when you make mistakes. And just be passionate and have fun and come at it like you have an answer to the world's problems, because you do. And ethically speaking, if you don't share that with the world, you're doing the world a disservice. So ethically, talk about it, be a part of it, really make everything a part of it. Everywhere I go, I'm commenting on people's hair or, people are commenting on my hair, or I always see you out and about and, you're talking about your new space that you're about to open and all of the progress that you're making there. But you also tell me to flip the tables, you tell me your hiccups and when things aren't going entirely smoothly as you're trying to open your, a brick and mortar store. And that helps me to feel not so crappy as a business owner who fumbles a little bit and has landlords and people to answer to. And we all kind of make different mistakes and we learn from each other. And our clients can definitely benefit from that too.
I love that so much that you said that. Yeah.
Word vomit.
No, it was perfect. I mean, I love the analogy that you made of tapping on the glass and saying, who's in there? Let's shatter that bullshit front that you've created to put in front of the mask of everybody else. And let's see who Maggie really is, who Julie really is, whoever our listener is right now. Take down those walls, because I think social media marketing, and social media in general, has inflamed that and taken it down at the same time. So as you watch things like YouTube and TikTok and things like that, you might relate to people that are more human, making mistakes, and you watch them more, at least I do. The ones that are all production and it seems fake and I just scroll right past it. So we don't want to be those people.
We want to be relatable. We follow the content that relates to us.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the same for our clientele, my clientele, your clientele, our listeners' clientele. The content that you put out, you want it to be relatable to the audience you're trying to seek.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and as a massage therapist, I mean, it's so critical, and hair salons as well, but it's so critical to have a space that people are comfortable in, because they are going to be in a vulnerable state of mind, or in vulnerable position. They're on our tables, usually completely naked or almost completely naked. You know, in your studio, they're coming in with maybe hair they don't like, or there's some sort of self-image related to their hair, and it might have a deeper impact on their self-worth and their self-confidence.
Yeah, both are very vulnerable moments. You know, you lay almost butt naked on a table. We as women, I mean, the danger lurks at every corner. I don't know how to say that, like more PC than that. But so when you're meeting someone, especially for the first time, and you're laying on a table, it is very vulnerable. It is. And when you're sitting in someone's chair and you don't like your hair, I mean, your hair is one of the first things people notice about you when you walk into a room. And few things age you like bad hair. And if you don't know what the possibilities are, it's very vulnerable for someone to look at me and trust me when I say, well, you know, if we put some warmth by your face and highlight this, you know, you'll glow, and we can, like, I convinced you to go strawberry blonde and add some warmth to your face too. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. And to trust, especially when someone has rosacea or something that they want to minimize. And I tell them, oh, well, you should go auburn or copper. And they go, what? Is instinctively, you don't want to put red by red, but it actually does calm it down. But it takes a huge level of trust. And in order to gain that trust, they have to have had some preconceived notion that you are trustworthy before they lay on your table, before they sit in your chair. I'll just throw this out for our listeners. If anyone's in the Plano area, transformationstation.studio is our website. There's a book now. If you come and sit in my chair and tell me you listen to this podcast, give me the code word hairspray and I'll give you 20% off your entire service.
That's awesome. 20% off. You guys are going to flip when you get in her chair. Because one of the things about Maggie and Lindsay is they're just like a perfect little puzzle piece that fit together. Maggie's the artistic colorist. She comes up with the perfect potion for your hair and the color. And Lindsay is the stylist, and she cuts your hair. And I have just been really, really impressed at how well the two of you, the two things that y'all are best at, come together so well. Cut and the color. And I mean, it's just like, it's magic. Transformationstation.studio.
And that has to do with what you're projecting and what people are saying about you, but also what the content you're putting out into the world. And also just how passionate and nerdy you are. Just being your authentic, passionate self. I used to get in trouble in the back for over explaining things to my clients. No, they don't need to know that. Well, maybe not, but they at least know that I know it and I'm excited. That's the bottom line. Even if it's all in a different language, there's so many cues in your body language and in the emphasis of these little nuances that make people feel comfortable and go, well, I have no idea what she just said, but it sounds like a win.
Well, good. Good. I love that. Maggie, I'd like you to talk a little bit about what we talked about last time when you were on my massage table. You shared with me a vulnerable moment that you've had in your business. And if you don't want to share this is totally fine. I understand. But I think this is a lesson that a lot of therapists and small business owners need to hear about the IRS and about their taxes and about trusting people. So,
oh, Julie, the listeners cannot see my face in my hands. Oh, Julie. Yes, I will share. So when you start your business, there are things you're going to not know, obviously. And then we live in a fascinating world of Google. And so you can look up anything, you can find solutions to anything. And in your long checklist of licenses you need, whatever it is, copyrights, just your list. There's a list when you move to unpacking is on the list, And so on my list were several different licenses. I had to have a reseller's license. I had to have my salon license, my cosmetology license, my LLC, and there's a list. And so I had no idea how to start an LLC or anything. I did know about my personal licenses and salon licenses because I had experiences there. But as far as opening my own spot, I was very limited. And so I hopped online, Google, and a few companies popped up with their sponsored ads and non-sponsored, but regardless, a few companies pop up and say, we can help you make your LLC. And you think, great, who's going to do it for the cheapest? I want that person. And that's all well and good. Here's where things went sideways. And my advice to prevent it is if you go through a third party company to solve some of your problems, don't cross it off your list. Like now that so I go through this third party company, I now have my LLC. Cool. If I strike that off the list, I'm not going to go back and check on that.
Yeah.
Because what you've done is you've given someone else the responsibility of taking care of this LLC.
Right.
If you do not cross-check the paperwork, you might find yourself in my position a couple of months ago. So everything was fine. No news is good news, right? My business is open for 2 years, almost. And suddenly I get an email from the company that I did my LLC with. And it's a very threatening, they had forwarded a letter from the IRS, essentially. And it was very threatening because I had not done some things over the last 2 years that I should have. One of them being taxes. I had no idea what I was doing. But I had this company that was supposed to be helping me do these things. After all, it was in their list off to the side of $19.99. You get this package and we'll do the correspondence and all of these things with the government and make sure that your company is fine. So I took my hands off the wheel and let them, they're supposed to send me correspondence or whatever. I didn't get any of the mail that the IRS had been sending me because when they submitted the paperwork representing me, which is totally honest and right of them. I mean, I did sign up for service. Okay. I'm not placing any fault on this company and I'm not going to name them for that reason. This is a personal mistake to not keep a pulse on things that matter to my business.
Right.
So in their paperwork that they had submitted for me, they had put their address for correspondence. And so they were getting all of my mail and everything from the IRS and I wasn't. And I lost track of time. And then suddenly I do get a message from them, but it was less than 60 days away from the IRS forfeiting my LLC and closing my doors, like completely halting my legal right to do business.
Wow.
And I had 56 days, I think was what it was. I know it was less than 60 days to figure out what happened. Why are they threatening me? And who has the information that I need, and how do I fix this? Like, I didn't have a CPA at the time. I had no idea. And again, and I'm going to pin back to what we were talking about earlier about being passionate and just talking about your passion. There was someone sitting in my chair and I did not bring this up to them. She was being passionate about her career and that she helps small businesses do their QuickBooks and find a CPA and get them settled. And I said, oh my goodness, I need your help. And she got a new client, and she's gotten several new clients and prospects from us because she was just being passionate. And suddenly I really needed her service, and she was able to turn everything around. And like, I think a couple of weeks before that deadline date in red at the bottom of the paper, we were back in good standing and everything was paid. And, it was a mistake. But the government doesn't care. The government will close your doors over it. So yeah, as you get things done and allocate certain responsibilities to other people or other companies and that say they're going to help you, keep a pulse on them.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for sharing that, because I think that's a common, that mistake could have happened to any of us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it didn't happen to me, but it could have. I mean, very easily it could have. So I think the moral of that story is just be careful who you trust with your business. And your business is your baby, and you do have to be passionate about it. And you do have to follow up and make sure that the people that you put into place to help you with these things, especially when it comes to taxes and LLCs, that you follow up with them and make sure that they're doing it right.
And double check the paperwork.
Ask questions.
Yes. Women do not ask enough questions, I don't think. We're getting better.
Yeah. I mean, and as a small business owner, you might feel as you're opening your business, man, it's a lot to open a business. I
don't even know what questions to ask.
You don't even know. No. Do you need a lawyer? Do you need a CPA? Do you need a tax accountant? Like, what do I need? Who knows, right? But this is why
I'm glad you're not actually asking me those questions, Julie.
Well, it depends on the business. Yes. I mean, but that's exactly why I want to have this podcast, because I feel like there's so many questions out there that we don't know, just are passionate about cutting hair, or passionate about doing massage, or passionate about starting our business. We're nerding out about the muscles and hair color. Whatever you're nerding out about and you love your business is awesome, but that doesn't make you an expert in everything business, right? So, right. I mean, that's why, Google is very helpful, but it can be helpful in leading you down a path that's maybe not the best for your business. So,
right.
Find somebody you trust and talk to us about it.
And my mom used to tell me, don't buy the most expensive option, but don't do the cheapest option either. And if something's free, you're the product being sold.
Ooh.
Right. So just be careful not to compromise your business and just by clicking on the wrong ad.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you on that one. And it's scary to have the IRS contact you. I can't imagine how much you're pissing your pants that day, because I peed in my pants too.
Dude, what a time. No, our salon has really overcome so much between the pandemic. Snowmageddon caused a flood. We closed our doors for almost 6 weeks because of a flood. There's several times that we've had to close because of, like I said, COVID. Lindsay, my business partner, has kids in school, and they got it a couple of times and we had to close. And just the IRS, I mean, there's scary things that approach, and you just have to take a deep breath and go, well, I didn't necessarily cause this. I didn't mean for this to happen. But the most important thing is how, coming out unscathed and laughing about it with your clients.
Yes. Well, and I love the fact that you utilize your client to help you get out of this trouble, and you trust her just like she trusts you.
Mm-hmm.
And
They're a family.
We're a family, and that trust goes two ways. And I think that that's awesome that, you could leverage that opportunity with your client and help market her business. Cause I'm sure now she's gotten some referrals from you too. That experience. And I mean, it's a vulnerable place to be, to admit a mistake like that. And so I'm very thankful that you shared that, because like I said, we've all made mistakes, and then we feel so silly afterwards. Like, man, I should have known this, but you don't know until you know. I mean, there's something about opening a business. You don't know until you know. And one thing I want to mention, just as we're on this topic, one of the things that I do is I work a lot with the chambers of commerce in my area, because they not only help me network my business, but they have mentors that are free. They're called mentors. And if you ever have any questions about this stuff, do you need a lawyer? Do you need a CPA? All the questions that I was asking earlier, and you don't have the answers for it. How do I do an LLC? A SCORE mentor is a really good person to ask, because like I said, it's a free professional service through the Chamber of Commerce. And so I would recommend those people. I've worked with two for like 3 years now. They're working with me to open my retail store, hopefully very soon. But, all these obstacles that come in our way, I mean, the phrase, that which does not kill you only makes you stronger. I really believe that to be true, that each and every obstacle that comes my way seems like just like mind-blowing obstacles at the time, but in looking back at this, it has made me a better business person. It's made me a better mentor to other business people. It's made me a better person in general. I'm a lot more calm when shit hits the fan now. Oh, okay, well, if I could deal with this, then this is not going to be a problem.
Right. This is nothing compared to the letter from the IRS in giant red letters.
Exactly.
Which I looked at and was like, well, I can figure this out. This is nothing compared to being closed for 6 weeks due to mold in the walls and having literally everything stripped in my salon. Literally 2 months after we opened, 3 months after we opened. I mean, so yeah, every time you get past something and you go, oh, didn't see that coming, or I didn't know to ask that question. And as you navigate life, like you said, what's this one small thing when you're trying to build an empire from the ground up, and you've made the bricks yourself.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, what you got for me?
Yeah.
I'm making bricks. Do you not know me? I'm Maggie the bricklayer. I lay foundations.
I love it. I love it. Well, if our listeners are out there and they're having struggles in their business, which all of us do.
Yeah.
I mean, You're not alone. There are people that you can trust. There are people that you can't trust, but there are also people you can trust. And I know that's a fine line. We have to be careful with that, but use your instincts. A lot of massage therapists, we have such good instincts. I mean, our true instincts in our heart is what leads us into this business. So I would encourage you to do that, but ask questions, ask a lot of questions. And like Maggie said, just cross it off the list and trust that this person on Google is going to figure it out for you. 'Cause, if you don't know them, I mean, who knows what they're going to do with your business? I mean,
Right.
so ask questions. But also wanted to ask Maggie, is there anything else that you've learned with your business that you'd like to share? Anything else you can think of?
What a question.
I know it's very open-ended. Do you want to talk about how you found Lindsay?
Lindsay and I met in a salon, and we were both just very passionate, communicative, quirky people that talk too loud and talk too much. And we were in a very high-end salon that we felt like we didn't belong there. And we very much felt it. And they kind of made us feel that way too. And so then you start kind of questioning where you fit and how are you going to make money? Because, you're like, well, I'm in this fancy salon and, I know what I'm doing. Why isn't 1 + 1 = 2? And so Lindsay and I teamed up and we went to a different salon, another very high-end salon in Highland Park. And we didn't fit in there either. We were loud, sometimes inappropriate, oversharing, talking with our clients. But amongst our crew, still didn't really feel like we fit. And that's a really hard pill to swallow when you're passionate and you're trying to make money and you're in the spot that you're told this is where the money is, but you just don't feel like it's a fit. So Lindsay and I created our own space where we do fit, where we can be loud and progressive. And our company donates to a bunch of charities and there's a halfway house that we donate to. And we created a brand that's more like us. And we feel really comfortable. And so we've attracted clients similar to us, and we've filled that space with people who are creative and loud and progressive and sometimes make inappropriate jokes and don't take life too seriously, at least in our space.
Do you have any regrets opening your business?
No, not even the timing. None of it. I have no regrets. My only real regret is that LLC thing. But we took care of it just like we took care of everything else. So
made you a better business owner and, more aware of that kind of a situation in the future in case anything else ever comes up, what not to do at least. And sometimes that's more valuable than knowing what to do is knowing what not to do.
Right. Or, when to micromanage.
Yeah. One thing that's very common amongst the people that I've talked to, and I want to point this out, is that everybody I've talked to about, do they regret starting their own business? Absolutely not ever have I heard anybody say they regret it. There's, like I said, been some obstacles along the way with every single business owner. So please don't feel like you're out there alone with these obstacles. I guarantee there's somebody out there that has suffered the same shit that you're going through. So, right. It'll be okay. You'll survive. You've survived 100% of the days that suck so far. So yeah. So I just love the business that you've created. And I love the fact that you've been able to share that to help explain to other people, because I want more of that type of business in my life, in the world. I think I want to be able to walk into any business and feel like people are giving me a great big hug. That's kind of the business that I want to have. And I want to experience that as well. And I think we need more of that in the world.
I agree. I love mom and pop shops. And when you walk in and, people address you by your name and they remember your favorite anything,
Yeah.
Your favorite drink or the shampoo that you like, the fragrances, whatever it is, just whatever. But it's the feeling when you walk in that people are not just there to buy something off of your shelf. They're there to invest in your experience and in your company and to say hello to you, because they know your name too, Julie. You know,
They do.
and it just feels really good. It feels really homey. And
You're my homie.
Yeah.
I love it. Anything else you want to add?
I'll just say that it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and you've provided some very thought-provoking conversation. And I hope that this message reaches listeners, and I hope that I explained myself in a way that reaches an audience and helps them. And I just really appreciate you putting this out into the world, because it's just another opportunity for people like me to help, because you're providing this service and an opportunity for other people to share their experiences and other women to learn from this.
Yes. Thank you for taking the time to interview today. I appreciate your vulnerability and your viewpoint and your heart and your passion and all of Magalicious.
Oh my.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me on the Handcrafted Therapy podcast. I would love to hear from you. You can email us at podcast@handcraftedtherapy.com, or you can come by the store. It's at 3303 North Central Expressway, suite number 240 in Plano, Texas, 75023. Or you can connect with me on social, Instagram, Facebook, #HandcraftedTherapy. I'm Julie Alexander, and I wish you a very happy and healthy day.